Hello friends, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do 10 cards for Cards for Kindness. This will be for the month of October. November, we'll box up the cards and send them off. And then I won't do any cards in December, but we'll start over again in January. So this month I used this Tim Holtz Sizzix Colorize Thinlet set. That's a mouthful. And I did the smaller flower. I want to show you something. I don't know how good y'all are, but I'm good. I actually bent this die. And it's pretty much back to being straight. But this corner right here, I don't know if you can see it. I was running them through my little sidekick, and on one pass it just shifted off the plate, cutting plate, just the tiniest bit, and I didn't realize it, and it came out bent. Now we're gonna get back through a few times. It kind of straightened out, but because I mean it was super mint. But yeah, so y'all tell me, have you ever bent a die? So I pre-made 10 flowers, and what I did was I pulled, these are the last of the finished backgrounds that I have from earlier in the year. So I pulled these all out and I went through the scraps and I cut and assembled flowers to go with these backgrounds. And I'm going to ink them up a little bit with probably Vintage Photo, but I wanted to show you those. And then I cut a whole bunch of the leaves. Now, the bigger leaf has little embellishments. This piece right here, I didn't cut those, and I did not cut this teeny tiny little leafy thing either. So I just cut the 3 leaf shapes, and I'll just ink those up a little bit. So we've got our flowers and our backgrounds done. I just have to cut the backgrounds down. Leaves are cut. Everything needs inking. And we're going to use, of course, the A2 layering dies to cut the backgrounds down. First things first, we need to stamp the backs of our cards. So I've got craft card bases. For this month, I thought we could use the handmade barcode. And then, of course, I've got my stamp. So let's get started. Now, these are pre-cut Hobby Lobby cards, but y'all know were not my favorite, but they were on super duper sale. And Sam says, so what? So I went ahead and bought some. So we're going to use these for this month. And, you know, they're pre-cut. They're pre-scored. You just got to fold them. I don't know. They're just not, they're not my favorite. And they're kind of off in size a little bit too. So they annoy me a little, I guess. But, you know, trying to help my budget. All right. All right, that one's flipped over. So we'll get these folded and enforce the score a little bit, or reinforce the fold a little bit. And then get our stamping on the back. And go from there. There we go. We're folded. We are reinforced. Now we're going to stamp. So I've got my little custom stamp that I made myself. I'm going to stamp that and then stamp the barcode above it with Jet Black Archival, just because it's simple. And since these are craft card bases, the black will be fine. So first my stamp. Ooh, which needs re-inked. Anyone has a good suggestion of someone to make someone you like on Etsy that makes custom stamps, drop me a comment. I'd like to have a bigger one made, and I want to put my blog on it too. All right, so that's what we're going to have. I'm going to re-ink this, and through the magic of YouTube, I'll come back with all of these stamped. Oh. Stamped card backs. Now, I normally do Cards for Kindness in groups of 10. However, today I'm doing 13 cards because I had 13 backgrounds left, and I thought, if I'm going to use them up, I might as well just use them up. So the next step is going to be to do some inking. So I've got Vintage Photo and a finger dauber. And we're just going to do these real quick and simple. Dump them out. just going to ink these a little, just so they're not quite so flat. But that's it. I'm not putting the accent pieces on. I'm not doing anything super crazy. I'll just throw them back in their little bowl. Some of these are craft and some are just brown cardstock, because like I said, I used up scraps for these flowers and leaves. But I mean, they turned out cute, so. And you wouldn't believe the scraps I still have. I'll just ink them up a little bit. Just give them a little interest so they're not super plain. Throw a little vintage photo on there, because you know what I say. It's the best brown in all the land. Now, if you wanted to, you could separate these. You don't have to use them as two leaves hooked together. But I am going to use them as two leaves hooked together. There, just a little ink. Some are going to be inkier than others. I just cut all these out with the Sidekick while I sat here and I watched a video. And then I assembled the flowers while I listened to a true crime video. Didn't watch it, just listened to it. Or as I like to say, I listened to Mr. Ballin tell me a story. Okay. Now, through the magic of YouTube, these will all be done in about 2 seconds. Here we have a bowl of lightly inked leaves. Now we're going to move on to the flowers. And I'm going to do them much the same way. Just kind of hit the edges a little bit. And maybe some of the accent parts. Because most of these are, like, color-wise pretty flat, right? So, just add a little, just a little love to them. And it's okay that these are kind of grungy, because these backgrounds are, they're kind of grungy. So I'm going to go through all 13 of these flowers and do the same thing. See you in a few. Alrighty, so all the flowers that were the right colors to have some ink, have some ink. So that's like I have this bright pink one, obviously that's one ink. So, but I have the Swan Fawn glitter pen. So I thought the ones that didn't want brown ink, I would put glitter pen on the detail part of the flower. Just add a little sparkle. There we go. That's just a little sparkle. And this background I love. This was some watercolor and a Tim Holtz stencil that I used duo gel through so I could add some foil. So that's going to be a really pretty card. Okay, so we have our waffle flower dies. And then we just have to decide what size do we want. I was thinking this one. Yeah. Or do I want to go down one more? No, that's too small. Okay, so we'll do this one. I'll be back with all of these cut, and then we will start assembling our cards. Voila! A pile of cut card fronts and strips. I kept the strips for the insides, no naked insides. And then I even have a pile of like smaller pieces. I'm thinking I might get another card or two out of these. So I'm going to use Bear Glue because most of this is watercolor paper, and even the ATG tends to not hold watercolor paper down very well. So we're just going to start gluing, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to glue the fronts on for now, and then I'll put the matching flower and strip that goes with it inside. Because, oh, and look, some of these I liked enough that I wrote down what I used. This one was regular Distress ink with Kish Flamingo, Fossilized Amber, Speckled Egg, and of course Vintage Photo. And then the stenciled dots are Vintage Photo, and I just love that. I really like that Speckled Egg and with the Vintage Photo. I think that's a nice combination. So we're just going to glue all these on the fronts. And I'm going to just lay the matching pieces inside the cards. And then by the time I get to the last one, you know, they'll be getting dry. And then we can start doing the inside, putting the strips on the inside. And then we're just going to get these as straight as our crooked eye will allow, because you know, I'm a mess. There we go. I'm going to go through and do all of these, and we'll be back with a stack of card front panels that are glued on. All of our fronts are on. Now I did screw up. I totally meant to ink the edges of all of those with Vintage Photo before I stuck them on, and I forgot. So that's a bummer, but we're just going to move on. I'm going to put the strips in. Now these are not necessarily uniform in size because it just kind of depended on how much of that I had left. I just trimmed them down to be straight. So we're just going to put these on the insides. Again with wet glue because this is watercolor paper. And it just behaves better if you use wet glue. So that takes, you know, what's on the outside into the inside. And gives us no naked insides. And let's put the flower back in there. It's like, see this pink one? Just have a little bitty piece of it. So it just depended on how much I had left of it that I could trim down. So this piece, since it's small, we're going to put in here at the bottom instead of on the side. And we'll just do them all. And if they're longer than the card, I'll just trim them off once they're stuck. All the cards have their embellished insides. Now we're going to start adding our flowers. And for sentiments, I cut sentiment strips from Brutus Monroe from the foilable sentiments pack. So we're going to add our flower, I think, probably down in the lower corner, lower left corner with some leaves. I'm going to use foam squares to put the flowers on so we can tuck the leaves in behind. I don't want it there though. There. I don't want any sagging. Peel our liners off. I think I'm going to add a little glue to these just to be double safe since they're going onto this heavily inked and painted watercolor paper. So about here, let it go off the mat a little. And just tuck in a couple leaves. going to be kind of monochromatic, aren't they? That's okay. Then one down this way. About in there. I like that. Okay, here we go. We're going to do all 13 similarly. And of course, you know me, they won't all be exactly the same, but they'll be close. Dun, 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 dun. Pile of flowered cards. Woo-hoo-hoo. Now for sentiments. So I have some, they're just kind of random. Like we've got a sympathy one. The white ones, I'm going to ink the edges with the vintage photo, of course. And like this one, I think I'll cut in half. And we'll just ink it up. So this will be a sympathy card. And I thought we could put these on with thin foam tape, skinny foam tape. Somebody's barking out there. Oh no, come back. And of course, we use some bear glue to stick them down. Make sure they stay good and stuck to this crazy background paper. So we've got with sympathy. This over this way. Yeah, I think that'll be better. And love. There we go. Sympathy card. Let's see, what's this one? Another sympathy card. Let's cut this in half. We'll pick a darker card though. About this one. Now this is black, so I'm not going to worry about vintage photoing it. Some foam tape here. get that relatively straight. And we'll continue on with the rest. Oh, here come Doodles. Hi, guys. I have Doodles in here. Okay, so all 13 cards are done. I almost said 10 because I usually do 10. So we've got all kinds of sentiments. Little things matter most. So I would consider this a thank you card, right? So we've got our distress / mixed media backgrounds with the lovely colorized flower. We use the smaller one out of this. And then sentiment strip from Brutus Monroe. And then a piece of the front and the back inside. Your special. Thanks for making me smile. Oh, I love this one. Stop and smell the roses. I like the colors on this too. You're a blessing. Another stop and smell the roses. Love this background. Love you bunches. Of course, you know I love this background because it's pink. You have my heart. Love this background. Happy birthday. Sending healing hugs. That's a good get well card. A sympathy card. Another sympathy card. And look, they say the same thing but look very different. Oh, I missed one. Oh, hold on. Let's see, what do we got here? Thanks for making me smile. We'll do a thank you card. Oh my goodness. Here I thought I was done. I'm lucky. I'm a lazy girl and I had not put the foam tape away yet. Thanks for making, ooh, let's tuck that underneath that leaf. Thanks for making me smile. Can't believe I missed one. No. Okay, last but not least, thanks for making me smile. Sometime beginning of November, we will be boxing up the cards. And we'll I'll go through them a little bit because I think I have some I've thrown in the bin that I haven't shown. So yeah, that's it. Cards for kindness. 13 cards for kindness this month instead of 10 because I had 13 backgrounds to use up. Look, isn't that pretty? That's just a nice little stack there, isn't it? Stack of pretty color. Have a lovely day. Remember, be excellent to each other and go make something. Bye-bye.